Inflation is the rate of change in prices. Rising inflation means you have to pay more for the same goods and services. Over time, inflation increases your cost of living. If the inflation rate is high enough, it hurts the economy. So in this video, we are going to talk about Inflation Nightmares 2023. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. The US economy has recovered quickly from the pandemic, but the bounce back in demand has stressed supply chains and caused inflation to rise sharply. The US inflation rate in October 2022 was the highest it has been since the early 90s, when Nirvana released Smells Like Teen Spirit and the Gulf War was just beginning. But should we really be worried? The Federal Reserve and the Biden administration think rising prices are transitory, caused by the hangover from the pandemic. Their critics are less sure. The economy's recovery was thrown off track when the transitory inflation of 2021 became persistent, and the Federal Reserve belatedly began to raise interest rates. The result has been the most uncertain outlook in a half-century, said Phil Powell, Associate Dean of Kelley Academic Programs at Indianapolis and Academic Director of the Indiana Business Research Center. The IMF's annual review of the U.S. economy focuses on the policies needed to return inflation to the Fed's medium-term target. Most workers' wages have failed to keep up with inflation, eroding the purchasing power of households and causing significant hardship. Although increases in gasoline and food prices have been affected by global events, the prices of a broader range of items have also risen strongly, including housing and transportation. If left unchecked, these price increases could become long-lasting. Global growth is slowing sharply, with further slowing likely as more countries fall into recession. My deep concern is that these trends will persist, with long-lasting consequences that are devastating for people in emerging markets and developing economies, said World Bank Group President David Malpass. To achieve low inflation rates, currency stability, and faster growth, policymakers could shift their focus from reducing consumption to boosting production. Policies should seek to generate additional investment and improve productivity and capital allocation, which are critical for growth and poverty reduction. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now, let's get back to our topic. As we look forward to 2023, the health of the domestic economy remains a concern as high costs linger, hiring slows, and salaries stagnate. Many industries in the United States and abroad have increased costs due to supply chain issues and other factors, leading to some of the highest inflation in recent memory. Inflation was high in 2022, but most economists now agree 2023 will show lower figures. Kotlikoff stresses that we will not be entering a recession unless we scare ourselves into a recession. The stock market thrives on confidence, so the media's reporting on economics issues can affect real outcomes. Despite high holiday spending, Americans are hurting financially, as real wages are down while inflation continues to rise. Despite low wages, we are also currently seeing low unemployment, very high demand for workers, and increases in employment from month to month nationwide. Unless supply disruptions and labor market pressures subside, those interest rate increases could leave the global core inflation rate, excluding energy, at about 5% in 2023, nearly double the 5-year average before the pandemic, the study finds. To cut global inflation to a rate consistent with their targets, central banks may need to raise interest rates by an additional 2 percentage points, according to the report's model. If this were accompanied by financial market stress, global GDP growth would slow to 0.5% in 2023, a 0.4% contraction in per capita terms that would meet the technical definition of a global recession. We think output growth at best will be weak in 2023, and negative growth for part of the year is a strong possibility, said Kyle Anderson, Clinical Assistant Professor of Business Economics and Faculty Chair of the Ewing MBA program. Demand will diminish across the economy. A key will be the extent of the impact on consumer spending. If consumption holds up, it will cushion any decline. If not, a recession will be unavoidable. Kotlikoff sees the economy recovering in the short term, but encourages diplomacy between the United States and China to ensure long-term economic prosperity. Moving forward, the economy will only continue to globalize, and large economic players must figure out how to continue working together despite political disturbances. While the Fed policies required to lower inflation may result in short-term costs on households and firms, they will help restore price stability and lay the foundations for strong economic growth and low unemployment. To support growth over the medium to long term, the U.S. government can use fiscal measures to invest in reforms to expand the size of the labor force, improve productivity, and incentivize innovation and investment. These could include increased government support for paid family leave, childcare, preschool, and access to a college education, tax credits that help women, minorities, and lower-income workers join the workforce, and immigration reform that is targeted toward expanding the labor force and strengthening skills. But inflation is a psychological as well as an economic phenomenon. Fear of rising prices is already affecting consumers and could, perversely, lead to more price rises as consumers snap up goods fearing yet more rises in a market that is still constrained by supply chain problems. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment with your thoughts below if you liked this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.